And you thought,
And I
you know
turned
what,
up.
a woman that can use a jigsaw is
My kind of woman.
Your kind of Welcome to A Cup of Tea with Bree, where I get to know some of North Queensland's most amazing parents, incredible business people and inspiring characters and principals. So today's guest is passionate about supporting a positive environment for his students as they embark on their learning journey. Please welcome the principal of Freshwater Christian College, Doug Holtam. How are you today?
Very well, Bree. It's lovely to be with you this morning.
It's great to have you here for a cup of tea while you're having coffee.
I've got coffee.
Yeah.
A
I'm
latte.
having my.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I'll take a sip of my coffee
Yeah.
before as
yeah.
we
It'll be
continue
a
to
little.
talk.
A little cheers. So we're talking about your life today. I want to know a little bit more about you
Yes.
to share your.
Yes.
You've told me a few things off camera, so I'm very excited to have this chat with you today. So let's start with where you grew up, and let's get this accent, sorted out once and for all.
The accent, okay. Well, it's not a London accent. People say it's a London accent. I did live in London for a few years, but I grew up on the south coast of England, near a city called Portsmouth.
Wow.
I was born in Portsmouth, yes.
And you've come to tropical North Queensland. What a big difference.
Yes, massive difference in temperature and the environment, and yeah, very, very different.
I bet.
Much warmer.
Yeah. So what was life like then growing up where you grew up? You got brothers and sisters?
Yes, one sister, Lisa, and she still lives in the UK. And my dad was in the Royal Navy, so he was away quite a lot. So there was my mum and Lisa and Goldie, our dog. So we had a pretty good childhood down there in the south of England. Yeah.
Goldie, what sort of dog was Goldie?
Goldie was a golden Labrador.
Oh, see, I was going to say that, but I thought, you can't be presumptuous these days. Could have been a golden, Chihuahua.
Yes, yes. And we left Goldie in New Zealand. We actually emigrated to New Zealand in 1982. And would you believe we stayed there 3 weeks and then decided as a family that we wanted to go back to England. So moved back to England, left Goldie with a beautiful New Zealand owner right by the ocean, and came back to England. And then I've made the journey later in life back down under.
So why did you only stay 3 weeks in New Zealand?
Well, I loved New Zealand. I thought it was a lovely place. And we were in Christchurch, but my parents really didn't take to it and thought that they would just cut their losses and get back home as quickly as they could.
Wow.
So, yeah. It was a great adventure.
Yeah, definitely. It started like a holiday,
years of
but
planning.
With the dog. And you come back and everything's sold and gone. So.
Yes, and we couldn't afford to bring the dog back. It was very expensive to take the dog there in the first place. So
wow.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yes.
So what made you move to Australia then?
It was a real calling for me. I mean, my wife's half Australian, half Jamaican, and we were thinking, what should we do? Where should we go? How can we serve? How can we, as Christians, how can we serve God, and how can we do that really well with the gifts that we have? And so we prayed about it, and we considered how we would do that. And I believe God He led us here to Australia. Yeah.
And you moved to Sydney?
Well, we came to Melbourne first of all, and we with our 4 children. And
4 children?
Yes, so 2
How old
girls,
were
2
they?
boys. So they were little ones back then, and so they grew up in Melbourne, and they're still in Melbourne, 4 of them. So they didn't want to come to far north Queensland, as beautiful as it is. So they stayed
I'm sure
there.
they'll come for holidays.
And they're all grown up now, so
Yeah.
so they're doing life in Melbourne, doing well, and so we go back to Melbourne and visit them on a regular basis. But home's Queensland, home's Cairns for us, for Melissa and I, my wife. Yeah.
So you've been here for how long now?
Oh, this is our first year, so middle of January this year. That's it for us.
You moved here in the hottest time of year.
Hottest,
from Melbourne.
wettest. Yeah, but
You've climatised.
We've been here many times because we've got a real heart for Indigenous people as well. So back down in Melbourne, we would bring teams of students to Cairns and take trips into Yarrabah with teams of children from Melbourne to visit Indigenous friends. And so we've got lots of Indigenous friends all over the country actually, but particularly in Yarrabah. Yeah.
Wow. And how did you meet your wife?
So I met her at Teacher Training College. She was training to be a primary teacher, and I was trained to be a secondary teacher. And we met over a project that she was doing with making a bed, would you believe, out for children out of in the shape of an aeroplane.
Wow.
So she had a jigsaw in her hand and was cutting out the shape of the bed. And
you thought,
and I
you know
turned
what,
up.
a woman that can use a jigsaw is
My kind of woman.
Your kind of
So yeah, we met at Teacher Training College in London, Greenwich University. Yes.
Incredible.
Yeah.
And then you had your 4 children in Melbourne when you moved to Australia?
So we had our 4 children in London. They were all born in London.
Okay.
Yeah, and we spent about 6 years in London. And then we moved to Liverpool in the north of England, where my wife grew up. And then Melbourne.
Wow.
And then Cairns.
Cairns.
Yeah.
So what did you want to be then when you grew up? Was it always teaching?
No, I really had a passion for soccer, football, as we call it in the UK. So I used every spare moment to develop that skill and talent, and never quite made it as a football player. That was one option. The other option was to be a fighter pilot, and I didn't pursue that option, mainly because my dad was in the Navy and he spent a lot of time away from home, and I didn't really want that.
Yeah.
For my family, I wanted to be around them. So I became a teacher, and teachers get lots of holidays.
Yes, they do.
As you know, and that helped us to spend lots of time as a family together. So our family has spent a lot of good times together, particularly during the school holidays.
I bet. So how long have you been principal for? So tell me about your journey into principaldom, because that's not a word.
Principalship, some people call it, or principaldom. That's a new word you've created. Good on you.
I love creating words. That's one of my finest.
It's a science, isn't it? It'll be in the new dictionary. So I started off, as teachers do, as a teacher, and spent some time enjoying that and being in the classroom, developing my teaching skills, and then had the opportunity to do a bit of leadership in education, and just slowly but surely had more opportunity. And I realised after a while that I could probably add more value to teachers in that role as a leader than I could to students. A bit more of a coach on the side.
Yeah.
I think as you get older, your energies are not as high as they are when you're younger. So I found that I really enjoyed working with teachers and helping them. I remained in the classroom, but spent more time with teachers, and now I'm in the position where I don't teach at all now.
That's great.
Formally in the classroom.
Yeah. I've heard you do some...
A lot of coaching of people.
Yeah.
Teaching staff and leaders and who are helping young people to grow and develop and flourish. Yes.
It's a privileged role. Now.
It's a very privileged role that I don't take lightly.
Yeah, and you're telling me off camera that even if you won $10 million, you'd still be doing it.
I think I would. I think I'd still love to help people to be the best versions of themselves that they can be. Older people, small, not quite that small, but young people and older people.
Yeah.
And teachers and, people who work with our community, our grandparents even.
Yeah.
It's great to be able to work with and have conversations with a 5-year-old or a 3-year-old in one breath, and then turn to a grandparent in another context and have a conversation with them. And I get to, that's one of the privileges that I have. I get to work with the full range of community in a way.
Yeah, it's lovely.
But I've got L plates on. That's what I always say to our staff. I should come in with my L plates on, and because I think as a principal I need to maintain an attitude of learning, that I'll always be learning, and that I can learn a lot from my students as well.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And when we stop learning, we're dying, right?
I think so. I think we start going backwards, and it's probably time to stop doing what we're doing if we think we've arrived and we know it all.
Yeah, I agree.
So humility is an important value, I think, for teachers generally, but for principals specifically. I think that's a very important value to maintain.
So do you have a favourite book?
Favourite book? I've got a number of favourite books. Probably the book that's impacted me most is the Stephen Covey book, The 7 Principles of Highly Effective People, it's called. Grand title.
I think it's here somewhere. I'm not going to look.
You probably have it on your bookshelf, I'm sure.
Somewhere.
And it's a self-development book, but it's great principles of leadership that really can help the leader, but they help the leader to help other people as well.
Yeah.
I have lots of other favourite books, but all the books that I've read that have impacted me, that one's probably impacted me most.
And what about something that most of your school community don't know about you?
They don't know, but I'd like them to know.
Maybe. They're going to know now.
Well, I love Indian food.
Okay.
Absolutely adore it.
Who doesn't? It's the best.
I've got lots of Indian cookbooks at home.
Do you?
And And sometimes parents in the past have understood that I like Indian food because I tell them, and they bring me Indian food. So I love that. So this isn't a hint.
What's your favourite Indian
food? But it is a
food?
hint. Tikka masala.
Okay.
Yeah, or korma. And I don't mind the spicier vindaloo. Sagaloo I like as well.
Oh, there we
yes,
go.
Yes. And the breads, the naan breads, the
I know.
Peshwari,
Okay, stop it.
Kashmiri.
You're making me hungry.
Yes, I know. Butter
while
chicken.
we're having tea.
Yes. Lunch is going to be good today.
Yeah. And it's, we do have a curry shop around the corner that we
great.
often frequent.
Fantastic. You're very fortunate.
If you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be and why? I'm guessing it's India.
Cairns.
Cairns.
I love Cairns.
You love it.
And I think I really have this theory that where you are, if you're meant to be there, then you'll find that is a place that you will really enjoy being.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Because that happened to me in London when I lived in London, when I lived in Liverpool, when I lived in Melbourne, and now it's happened to me in Cairns. I adore Cairns. I love the mountains, the palm trees. I love the heat. I love the rain. I'm not a whinging pom. I fell in love with Australia the first time I came here. I just thought, this is an amazing country.
So if you could have dinner with 3 people, whether past and present, who would they be and why?
Past or present?
Past or present, yep.
Winston Churchill,
Without
a doubt. Yes, I got a lot of respect for Winston Churchill and his courage and convictions to stand up when a lot of people didn't. And obviously he's one of my countrymen. I think Nelson Mandela, I've got a great respect for him as well. I read his book. I can't remember the name of it. The Longest Journey, I think. Something about a journey.
Yep.
And I read that book, quite a thick, 800 pages, and it really impacted me. And what it spoke to me about was the way that to achieve great things, you need unity with others that want to achieve great things. You can't do it on your own. It's about building a team of people. And Nelson Mandela managed to unite a group of people who were not united around a cause and behind a cause that transformed a country. It's a miracle story. It's a great story about humility and unity and integrity. And so Nelson Mandela, I would love to have dinner with him.
Yeah.
And Boadicea. Again, one of my country ladies. She was a leader of the ancient Britons and stood up against the Romans. And
I noticed a bit of a theme going on here.
yes, yes.
People that stand up.
People that stand up for a cause and for justice.
Yeah.
On behalf of a lot of other people. Yeah, I suppose to me, they're my superheroes.
Yeah.
There's lots of others. It's a hard question to answer.
It is a hard
3
question.
people.
So it always intrigues me.
It could be 20 people. People said, oh, Jesus should be one of them, Doug. And I think, I will have dinner with Jesus one day.
Yeah.
So.
I love it.
Yeah.
So tell me about your school. You're really, really passionate about Freshwater.
Yes, I am.
You were telling me a lot before we got on camera.
Yes.
And what is it that you love about the school most of all?
I love the community. I love the commitment of our staff and our students to engage every day and to try and learn new things, to be creative in what they do. I love the courage of our staff to be able to try new things. And there's a real sense of love and unity in our school. So when I joined, I could feel that, and it's a very friendly place to be. And it's a very nurturing environment for everybody, for our staff, for our students, for our parents, and everyone belongs. Everyone's part of it. And that's the strength of community, and a strong community is a strong school, I believe. And we are strong. Not to say we can't be stronger as a community, and that's a commitment that I have to build stronger community and to build alumni and to invite our students who are doing amazing things around the world to come back and celebrate what they've achieved and who they are. And part of that is what we've done in their lives, the investment that we've made in them. So we're looking to do that over the next few years. It's something we haven't really done before. We're nearly 40 years old.
Wow.
So life begins at 40, right?
Yeah.
Well, I think life began 40 years ago when our school was birthed, and it's gone from strength to strength. But I think the real strength of it is its community and the love that goes with that, and high levels of trust and regard and respect and honour for people past and present who have laid down their lives, really, given their time, blood, sweat and tears to make the school what it is today. And it is a lovely environment visually, but more than that, it's a beautiful culture, and that people always comment on. They say there's a great atmosphere in this school, and I love that. And I say, well, it's not me. It's partly me, but as Christians, we believe that God really helps us as well to create that loving, caring, nurturing, safe environment for young people where they can grow into the people they were designed to be. Yeah.
And just touching on that, you were saying, the day we were born and the day we work out why.
Yes.
Two of the most important dates ever.
Yes, the why question. Why are we here? And I think that's a really important question for every human being to ponder. Probably the right word. And it takes a while before you even realise that you should be asking that question, I think. Some people never get around to considering that. And I think if you ponder that question and ask that question for long enough, and you surround yourself with the right people who can help you on your journey, then I think you will live an abundant and flourishing life. So it's about creating, for us as a school, it's about creating the culture and the ground, if you like, where young people can have opportunity to ask that question in a number of different ways, figure out what their gifts are, figure out how they can develop their gifts, and then as a community we help them to leave our school and find a place in society where they can use their gifts, where they can share them with others and make a difference, a positive difference in the world. So really that's what we do. And we do it with God's help, and we do it over many, many years, because our school is a community made up of 3-year-olds in terms of our students, from 3-year-olds to 18-year-olds on one site.
Wow.
So it's like a village.
Yes.
The whole idea of it takes a village to grow a child and to educate a child. Our school it's like a village where everyone has a place and everyone's known. It's a smaller school, so we're 2-tier entry, have around 620 students, and that smallness, if you like, is a strength, because it helps us to. No one's a number in our school. I mean, schools can be like, I've worked in schools that are like factories, like there's an assembly line, children on an assembly line like cars, they're being constructed and they come out the other end and off they go. That's an unfortunate model. A necessary model if you get too big as a school, because that's the only way you can work efficiently. But we want to stay small so that we can help every child, personalise a learning experience, because every child is unique. They're all different with a diversity of gifts and talents. So our school, and my vision for our school, is that we grow a school where every child can experience opportunities to grow in their own gifting, whatever that is, whether it's artistic, whether it's performing arts, whether it's a technology base, whether it's academia and an academic gift that they have, combination of gifts, sporting gifts, spiritual gifts, all sorts of different gifts. So my job is about developing talent. That's how I see it.
Yeah.
So it's not a job.
Yeah, I love it.
It's a passion.
Yeah. And you were telling me the day you realised your why.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
Well, it's a hard thing for me to talk about in some ways, because it was a very difficult time in my life. I went to the south of France on a holiday with friends of mine. I was in a band, actually. I was the drummer in a band, and we all went together as a band to the south of France. That's where we're all from the UK. And we used to go to the south of France. It was a fantastic place to go and visit. And I remember I was on the beach, and I was basically showing off. In my mid-20s, I was showing off to the girls on the beach, and I ran down the beach. I was quite a fast runner in those days. And I did this what I thought was a really fancy dive into the Mediterranean Sea, and I broke my neck in 3 places. And I was told by the doctors that I was lucky to be alive, that I was lucky not to be paralysed from the neck down, and that I was lucky not to be dead. So when something like that happens, it wakes you up. It was my wake-up call. And it really did get me asking the why question. Why am I here? Why are any of us here? What's our purpose on this earth? Because our lives are fragile and fleeting. They really don't last very long, and some don't last very long at all. And my life could have ended there on that day in the sand. The 3rd of September 1990, that was the day. So that day really led me on this journey of discovery in terms of what's the why for me as a human being. And it led me to faith, ultimately. And it led me to an adventure in faith that has continued for 25 years. So it's been it's a quarter of a century now. So it's a long journey, isn't it?
Yes.
And through that time, I can honestly say that it's been a roller coaster ride, and I've learned so much. And as a principal, I think you have to be the chief learner, right?
Yeah. I love it.
I'm the lead learner in our school, and so my passion is, I have a passion to learn. And I'm still doing courses, and I will continue to. I've just signed up to do another one with Melbourne University for the next 8 years, would you believe?
My goodness.
So I can keep learning.
Yeah, good for you.
Stay sharp.
So this leads me to my last question then. What's the
Right.
best piece of advice you've ever been given?
The best piece of advice. I've been given lots of advice over the years. Probably the best piece of advice is to do with listening to people. So, and it's back to that Covey book again. And one of the rules in that book, or one of the principles in that book, is it's around the idea that we should seek to understand before we're understood. Seek to understand before we are understood. In other words, make a commitment to deeply understanding another human being, their point of view, their hurts, their concerns, their ideas, before you impose your ideas upon them, because it gives you a gateway into their hearts and minds if you're willing to do that. If you are willing to deeply listen to another person and authentically do that and do it well, they will listen to you. So it's an exchange then, and you learn. Obviously, you'll learn a lot more if you're willing to do that. So I think, and do I always do that? No, I don't. It's something that I try to do.
Yeah.
And it's served me quite well, that principle. So it's probably good advice for anybody.
That's why we've got 2 ears, 1 mouth, right?
I think so. We should be listening twice as much as we talk. And most teachers are good talkers, and I am as well. So.
Look, I love listening to people talk. So thank you
Much
for
Bree.
being with me today and having a cup of tea with Bree. It's been really wonderful to get to know you a bit better.
I've loved it.
Yeah, it's been wonderful.
Thank you for your time.
Oh, anytime.
Bless
so if
you.
you'd like to know any more and see any of our future episodes of A Cup of Tea with Bree, stay tuned to our YouTube. We'll see you next time.